Hi to all my sewing and designing friends. It's Marcy Tilton, and I thought it might be interesting to show you what it's like when I come up the stairs into my studio without having really done any staging or housekeeping. And I'm going to walk you through and show you some of the processes I use in designing. I'm in the midst of a couple of things that are kind of fun right now. So this is my sewing station. I just switched my sewing machine and serger, so I'm in a different spot close to the ironing board. I think it's interesting to see other people's messes. So underneath the ironing board are just things that need tending, mending, pressing, tablecloths, some vintage pieces I got in Paris that I want to maybe cut up for a garment. The sewing machine, I love my sewing machine. And so here's a cool thing I learned from Gwen Spencer, and that is the idea of the bowl. So if we look down, can you see what sits underneath I love this clear ironing board, sewing surface. In it are just the things I'm going to need for a current project. And sometimes I might take that bowl, see, I've got another one underneath, and I might place it like so that I can have right at my fingertips a fresh needle. If I'm using a different presser foot, they all go into the bowl. Moving around to the other side, so here's the serging area, and this little Lazy Susan I got in the Napa catalog. So it's like a house catalog, and it is a wonderful thing. So this is where I keep my marking tools, thimbles, needles, thread, extra sewing machine needles, some little scissors, anything I think I might want to grab. And about once a year, I have to go through it and revise it. And then my serger, which I also love. People have asked me about these lamps. So I have one for the serger, and then over here, it's kind of bright, I have another one for the sewing machine. These are not magnifying glasses. These are actually LED lights, and I believe the company's name is Pablo. I got them through the Design Within Reach catalog. So I have storage. I keep current fabrics in the armoire. I keep little things in this tower of cabinets over here in the far corner. This is my imagination creation station where I sometimes work on the computer. I have two computers. I have a big screen computer. Truthfully, I watch movies on it more than anything. And then I have my trusty laptop. And I think it's fun to see before and after pictures because I want to change this corner of the room. And so I've taken the curtain down from my stand-up desk, and come whenever I have time, hopefully the end of the year, beginning of 2017, I'm going to rework this whole corner so that it's more pleasant to be in, because this is the entrance to the living room, and I really don't like having my back to the door when I'm working. If we move around here, this is the ironing station. I love my reliable iron, love it. Behind the curtain, I keep, it's kind of getting to be bright today, so I pulled the curtain, but this is where I keep my sleeve board and a roller for getting lint off, extra distilled water, my trusty Taylor's ham. So I don't know about you, but in my studio, it is a never-ending battle to keep surfaces clear. So that's probably one of the first things I'm going to do this morning. Here also is my roll of paper. I keep it handy with a paper scissors so I can reel paper off for pattern making. Down here, sometimes and you'll see I have not swept my floor in days. Down here on the floor, I have 2 bolts of these great Japanese linens because I'm working right now on a New Vogue pattern, and I'm thinking I want to use one of these for one of the designs. So that's just to catch my eye as I go by. And then here's my design table. This is a 4x8 table, and it's full of stuff this morning. So let me talk a little bit about that, because when I'm done talking to you, I'm going to clear it off. It's coming on Christmas, and I'm late, like always, but I want to make some kind of a top for the holidays. So here I'm auditioning some fabrics. I've got this big wide stripe. I love it. Kind of silvery and black, and it's plain on the back side. This is where I'll start, and sometimes that's an issue for me. Which piece do I start with? So this is one of our sparkly knits, pretty simple, and that one is going to be some kind of a t-shirt. This other stripe probably is going to be some kind of a trim, and then all these envelopes you see on the table. This is my not great but functional system of keeping patterns. So when I get my patterns from the pattern maker for a new pattern, I will put them in here and label them. So, you know, this is the Godet swing tunic and what size it is. And about twice a year I have to go through this and organize it. Over here, this is another storage area, and this is another thing I'm auditioning. These are hand-dyed napkins that I got at the Paris flea market, and I'm thinking about them for a shirt or a jacket. It's kind of cool that I got some that have a fringe, some have a monogram on them. They're pretty fun. Out on the deck, for 20 bucks, I got a big French flag, which I fly off the deck. This I'm going to quickly go by. That's a prototype for a future pattern, but just wanted to say that I have now made 3 separate collars for that very pattern, and still counting. I'm still working on that. Another one of my dirty little, well, not so dirty, little sewing tricks is in this closet behind the curtain, which is usually pulled, I keep a bin of fabric scraps from recent projects. And when I'm cutting something out, I just stuff it in there. And then if I need an extra piece, which I frequently do, I can just grab it. Hanging in the closet also are some of my favorite patterns that I use over and over again for myself. And then hanging on the wall is the current pattern that I'm working on. So one of my rules is I never put the pattern pieces back in the envelope until I'm sure I'm done with the garment. At the cutting table, I have a system. I keep one of my cameras here in case I want to take a shot. Here are some loose pattern pieces that I'm still working on. I like to put all my tools over on one end of the table. So here I've got my tracing paper and notcher and tracing wheel all ready to use if I want it. And that's about it for the day. So the first thing I'm going to do is clear off the table, make a decision, what's next, and then I am going to get cracking and do some sewing. My favorite kind of a day. Happy sewing, happy designing from my studio to yours. Come visit us at marcytilton.com.